I'm back. Can you guys hear me? So crazy. Oh, Joyce, Kat, and Lynn, five others. Come on. Who else do we need? All right, let's give them just one more second. Then I'll just talk fast and then we'll be fine. Ay, ay, ay. All right, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. All right. That's so disappointing. Gosh, it drives me crazy. Let's just make sure this other link is working fine. Yeah, my internet connection's fine. Everything's fine here. I don't know why it would have done that, but here we go. All right. Take just a minute or two to let everybody log back in. Amy's here today. Good. Delightful. Amy, you're probably sneaking around the background more often than I know. Let's see. Cheering Annie back. Let Louise saw the new link and it all looks like, I guess I have yeah. The internet crashed on us, so you have to retune you guys know the drill. Uh, okay, Joyce, technology is a fickle friend or fiend, right? Renee, welcome. All right, so we'll let everybody kind of log back in for just a second. Um, let's see. I'm gonna talk myself down off of the panic. All right. Phew. All right. So let me start again. Hi, my name's Gary. I'm with the Rocky Mountain Ukulele Orchestra. I'm going to teach you how to play instrumental ukulele. I am not going to teach you how to stay connected to YouTube because it seems to be pretty regular that YouTube's like, no, we've had enough of Gary, and then kick me out. Um, all right, Henry did it. Henry, where is Henry? All right, Henry probably did it. All right. In my panic, I ran out, reset the internet, and I left the door open. I'll be right back. Ah, all right. Hi, everybody. Hello. Here we go. We got way less people than before, so we can go much faster now. All right. So today we're going to talk about simple gifts, F chord, index, middle, blunk, C7, C chords right there, blunk, blunk. Okay. Now, I'd like to go through just the chords and melody just the chords and singing one more time, just so we can get it on tape. So there's something here if people log in. We're going to be doing either a 4-beat pattern, okay, or if you're next level, 1, 2, 3, 4, or if you're top level, which I don't know if there is a top level, 1, 2, 3, 4, thumb, index, middle, index. You pick your strum pattern. You try to close your ears while I'm doing the singing because it's never good. And let's see if we can just run through the chords and lyrics one last time. 1, 2, ready. It's in 4. 1, 2, 3. 'Tis a gift to be simple. 'Tis a gift to be free. 'Tis a gift to come down to where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place that is right, it will be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we won't be ashamed. To turn, turn, and turn, it will be our delight. Till by turning and turning, we come round right. Hold on till it finishes ringing out. So those are your two chords. Very simple song. Nothing is simple in music. Simpler than some of the stuff we were working on last week. The nice part about this tune, very old tune, the Shakers mid 19th century song, was probably lost to the world. It was a dance tune for that for those group of people, but they decided not to procreate nor to advertise their particular brand of religion, and so they went out of business. And the song had been lost until Aaron Copland found it and stuck it in as part of a theme in his New World Symphony. And I think the words are very just beautiful. We're going to bow and we're going to bend, but we're not going to break. And I love that idea. So let's run through the tablature. Those of you guys who've been around the last few weeks are good with this. If you're not, if this is new information to you, go to Jolly Roger Ukulele, click on the ukulele tab, and then just follow the lessons in order, and then you'll learn to read tablature. Obviously, at the end of this week, we're going to start that whole process over again. So if you were coming into this a little bit late, you're like, I'm not 100% sure what he's talking about with tablature, just stick with us through the week, and then next week we start fresh again, and we'll go from there. By the way, next week I think we are going to have Mozart week for more advanced players. All right, let's play the ukulele melody line. Remember, ones are your index finger, threes are your ring finger. There are no other notes in this entire piece. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, 3. Oh, oh, 1, 1, 3. Oh, 1, oh, 1, 3. 3, 1, oh. 3, 1, 3, 3, 3, 3, 1, 3, oh, 3, oh, 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 1, oh, 1, 3, oh, 3, oh, 1, 3, 3, 1, oh, 3, 1, 3, 3, 3, oh, oh, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, oh, 2, 3, oh, 1, oh, 3, 1, 2, 3, oh, oh, 1, 3, 1, oh, 3, 3, oh, 3, oh, 1, 1, 3, oh, 3, oh, 1, 3, 3, 1, oh, 3, 1, 3, 3, 3, oh, oh, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1. Okay, I made a couple mistakes, tried to just play right through them. That's what you should do as well. Whenever you're playing and something doesn't, and a strange sound comes out of this, try really hard that's not a thing. You just, that's what you meant to say, and that's what your instrument's wanting to do for you right at the moment, and then try as quickly as possible to get back on track. I think newer players, we fight that a lot, where we're like, oh, I made a mistake, I got to go back and fix it. Try not to, really, really, really try not to. Pay attention to where you made the mistakes, and then go back and take a look at those and figure out if it was just a mistake, hit the wrong string or something, or if you're really not thinking about the music correctly and it's not flowing inside of you, then you want to go and study. You want to slow it down and really try to understand what's going on in those situations. If a lot of that was a struggle, then we just played it too fast, and so you want to slow it down. If you're only goofing up in a couple of places like I did, then I'm going to go in and say, what in the heck was I doing? And both of my mistakes were I hit the second string instead of the first string, so I'm hitting the wrong string. Okay, and so I need to pay more attention to that. Part of it is when you play with your thumb, you're a little less accurate than when you play with your claw positioning, because then your fingers are moving less distance around. So be mindful of that while this is harder to learn and get started with, in the long run, it's going to make you a lot more accurate and a lot faster to play with your claw than just thumb. Okay. All right. Final thing. And today's topic was, hey, let's talk about how and when we think about weird fingering choices when we come up against those in tough uke. All right. So let's see how we're doing on time. All right. We can rush through the next two songs. Let's finish this one up. We're going to start with our F chord. Whenever I get to a weird fingering choice, I'm going to stop and talk about it, and then we'll go back through and play it. Okay. So let's start at the top. 1, 2, 3. Oh, oh, strum, ring. Let me start at the top again. I'm worried about this ring coming in here. I'm read too far ahead. From the top, 1, 2, 3. Oh, oh, strum, strum, ring, strum, 1, oh, 1. Here's a good place to talk about finger choices. F chord, I'm going to use my pinky to get that 3. You can also use your ring finger, whichever one makes the most sense for you. Play it. Strum, 3, 1. I had to lose the chord to go get that 1, and now I'm going to put the chord back on. Strum, 3, 1, strum, 3, 3, strum. 1, strum, O, strum, O, O, O. F chord, lose the index finger. O, 1, 3, O, 3, O, 1. Here's that F chord with your pinky again. Strum, 3, 1, strum. 3, 1, strum. 3, 3, strum. O, 3, F chord, strum, strum, ring, strum. Remember to let that note ring for what's going to feel like 4 beats. Actually, it's only 2 beats, but it feels, because everything has been eighth notes leading up to it, lots of eighth notes and eighth notes leading up to it, lots of eighth notes in there. It feels like you got to wait 4 beats. Okay, and you should wait for plenty of time. Okay, same thing with the next note. Hit that F chord with your pinky, strum. Take your pinky off. 3, O, 1, O, 3, F chord, strum. 3, strum, O, 1. Okay, I had to let go of the F chord to hit that 1. Now I got to put it back on, and I have to put the 3 on. 1, O, strum. 3, O, strum. O, strum, 1, 3, strum, 3, O, 1, F chord with your pinky, strum, 3, 1, strum, 3, 1, strum, 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 3, bum, 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 bum. So we have a number of places in there where you either have to completely abandon the chord to go get a melody note, or we're going to add on fingers to get to the melody note. We don't have any really wonky refingerings that we need to do. We got those in the other 2 songs, so we're going to get to those here in just a second. Okay, so let's go from the top to the bottom. Play with me. If playing the tough uke is too much for you right now, just play the melody. If playing the melody is too much for you, play the chords. Okay, we'll try to keep a nice steady pace. 1, 2, 3. Hold your F chord, let it finish ringing out. Okay? Nice, pretty tune, right? Nice, easy to get along with. It sounds great on every instrument. I love this. That's probably my favorite song, honestly. I just love this song. So, so put a little bit of time in on that one. Again, be when you're playing tough uke, being thoughtful about what you're going to have to do when all of a sudden you got to abandon the chord, or you have to add a note to a chord. Try to think your way through that just a little bit. Welcome back, Greg. We had a catastrophe. All right, simple gifts. We're going to go through the other 2 songs here relatively quickly, so every single note was complicated. Let's go next to let's go grab Colorado Trail. Lots of you, good percentage of you, were not from Colorado, so trust me, nobody from Colorado knows this song either. I grew up in Colorado. I had never heard of this song. It turns out it's dead, and she is. Oh, it just said my connection's messing up, guys. Let me know if you're still with me or not. A little sign popped up here. It said my connection is unstable. So if you're feeling unstable, let me know. It's beautiful, beautiful. I grew up near Denver, and I never heard about it either. Yeah, Louise, we don't hear this song in Colorado, so just boy, I'm freaking out. Hold on, let me see. I am I here? Question mark. Enter. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We at least got part of it in, right? All right. The problem is when to get rid of a dead stream, you have to delete the whole thing. So there's no way to save it. So I'm hoping we make it through to the end. All right. Colorado Trail. Those of us from Colorado don't know this song either. What we like about this song is here's this poor little 16-year-old girl who is pretty as a flower, right? And she's dead, and the poor narrator is just a mess. And the rains can come, and what's he going to do? He's just hanging out in Colorado on the Colorado Trail. I don't think those of us from Colorado even knew there was a Colorado Trail. Maybe we did. I don't know. Your piece of sheet music is set up in a little bit different way than the other pieces are. It's really meant for you to go find another ukulele player, teach them how to play, and then play some of this as a together activity. Okay, so we'll run through. There's only 3 chords in here, 4 chords. And the first line, of course, is the melody line. We'll run through that real quick. The second line is a boom chuck line. Boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck. And if you'll listen to the MP3, you can hear it quite clearly on there. Boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck. So you'll be like, that's what you're supposed to be doing with that. Boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck. Okay, so if you're playing it by yourself and singing, it might be a fun thing to do. But if you're just wanting to pick a line to play, that would not be a solo line for you. The third line, ukulele 3, is this an arpeggio pattern. Again, it's an opportunity for you to play in a different way. You get 2 or 3 ukulele players together. One of you would play the arpeggio, one would play ukulele 2, one would play ukulele 1. Maybe a 4th person would play the chords, so that you could get this whole, everybody kind of doing a little bit different thing, and a bit glitchy and laggy. Okay, all right. Colorado Trail starts in water. Colorado Trail starts in Waterton Canyon and crosses the state. Okay, I do know, Mike. All right, I remember that. I'm sorry if I'm glitchy. My internet here is fine, guys. It's got to be something to do with YouTube. I'm assuming, because I'm looking great and my phone's working and the internet's working and all this stuff. So I'm not sure why I'm lagging. I do apologize. We'll get through today, and then Maybe I'll post this up as just a straight up video. That way we can have it. Okay. And of course, tomorrow things may be back to normal. Sunday, maybe it's, I don't know. All right. So then the final, of course, is Tough You down in the bottom line. That's the same stuff we're always working on. So you think the song predates the trail? Okay. So we have the cute part about the song is it's just such a sweet little tune. So learn your chords real quick. We got an F chord, index finger here, middle finger here, F. Eyes like, and here's that C chord again, same as from the last song. Morning star, and then D minor. And if you're newer, this is one you kind of fight a little bit. Index finger, middle finger, and ring goes right underneath your middle finger. Morning star. Okay, and A minor, just your middle finger up on the top string. Okay, that's 4 chords. That's it. That's all you get. Okay, that's all you need. Okay, let's run through. I'll sing it for you. Sorry about my singing. Eyes. Okay, it's real high. I'm going to go way above my ability to sing it. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eyes like the morning star, cheeks like a rose. Laura was a pretty girl. Everybody knows. 2, 3, 4. Sweep all ye little rain. Let me go back to the weep part. I didn't hit my pedal right. Let's go back to weep. Measure 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Weep all ye little rain, where winds wail all along along the Colorado Trail. Okay, so that's the basic idea of how it goes. Okay, all right. So now let's go through and run through the melody real quick. This is not meant to be sped up or played super fast. I've got it set at 120 on the MP3, on the internet, or on the web page for you on purpose to give you a challenge. I want you to be able to play it at 120. Then when you go out to the coffee shop and you're going to regale them, this is probably more of a bar song, right? You want to play it quite a bit slower than 120. All right. It's just a challenge for you. Listen to the MP3, see if you can keep up. Okay. From the top, melody only, ukulele 1, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 5, 3, 0. 3, 1, 3, 0, 2, 3, 4. 0, 3, 3, 5, 3, 0, 0. 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 4. 0, 3, 3, 5, 3, 0. 3, 1, 3, 0, 2, 3, 4. 3, 5, 8, 5, 3, 0, 3. 1, 3, 1, 1, 0, 1. Let it ring out. And then we would repeat it. You play through the song 3 times. The last time through, the third time through, you skip measures 15 and 16, and you go to 17 and play to the end. The thing that probably got you, right, and I should have talked about it before we took off, measures 13 and 14, right? There's that 8 sitting in there, and all of a sudden you're 3, 5. And I knew because I practiced earlier, and I thought, oh, I better talk about that because we'll blow it if I don't, and then I didn't. So if you blew it, it's on me. When you see 3, 5, 8, you got to go ahead and get out of first position. It's not gonna go well. Okay, get your index finger on 3. Probably ring finger on 5 and pinky up to 8, and then you're saved. Okay, so just know second time when you start practicing this at home, that measure 13 is going to mess you up. And so generally speaking, get into third position probably, and then you can pinky on up to 8, and you'll be pretty successful. You can hit the 3 and then slide into 5th position, which puts your pinky on 8, but I'm not sure necessarily that's going to go any better for you. And so just think about going to 3rd position at measure 13. Save you some kind of tragedy. Okay. All right. Tough uke. Okay, again, ukulele 2 and ukulele 3 is for an ensemble position. So if you know a couple other ukulele players, teach them what you're doing, teach them how this is going, and then have one of them playing ukulele 2, boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck. Ukulele 2 will even sound better if you have a low G tuned ukulele in your group. It's really set up to take advantage of that 4th string a little bit, and it'll sound fine with a high G ukulele, but it sounds really sweet with a low G ukulele. And then ukulele 3 is again a 2-finger arpeggio just all the way through the whole song, trying to figure out how to play index middle, index middle, index middle, index middle, index middle. Okay, it's supposed to be played that way, but you could also do your thumb, 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 thumb. All right, let's see. Talking about the Colorado Trail a little bit. Sure. Oh, Mel is up there cleaning house in British Columbia. Let's see. All right, beautiful. All right, so we're just talking about Colorado Trail in the chat box. Let's play the song. Stop chatting. Get your arms ready. Okay. First chord's an F. Okay. If it goes well, we'll just play it through once. If I'm fighting it, we'll go back through and play it a second time. Hopefully just once, because we got to get to the other song yet, and it's harder than this one. And let me talk about one moment, because Tanya Brock came in and says, hey, I think it was Tanya, talking about, hey, how do we think about tough uke fingering? On this song, look at measure 1. It's an F chord followed by a C chord. Okay, so I'm not going to think at all about tough uke fingering. But when I get to measure 2, I've got a D minor, okay, D, F chord, add your ring, D minor, and then I got to get my finger up to 5. Okay, very doable, but not necessarily easy, right? So and I like that because then you slide your pinky down to the 3 to get the very next idea. So it's morning star Okay, so that works perfectly fine. However, there is an alternate choice to that. There's a D minor sitting here, a bar chord on 5 with your ring finger up here. And you could play it as more, hit that bar chord here, more, then now your your index finger is sitting on 5, which is the melody note. Okay, but you make the full D minor with your ring finger on 7. And then you can just slide down to grab the 3, and then you've got the A minor after that. Okay, so that's another potential fingering. I've got both listed here, one in chicken scratching and one what you guys are looking at. And so both of those are good choices. And I would say for some of you, if your bar chords are solid, that might be a better fingering. But if your bar chords aren't solid, that's also an excellent fingering. So again, guys, when you are thinking about tough uke fingering, sure, I'm going to give you my idea, and usually my ideas are pretty close to the easiest way to do a song. Not that anything is easy here, but I really focus in on playability when I'm writing arrangements. I need them to be easy to play because I don't spend as much time practicing as I probably should, and I want to be able to read through the sheet music an hour before whatever I'm playing and be able for it to make sense pretty quickly for me. And so you should be thinking, all right, this D minor is the only one I know. I'm going to go with what Gary wrote down. If you know all of your chords, and you're like, well, there's this D minor and it's on 5. Why wouldn't I use that? Try them both and see which is going to be most successful for you, and figure out the fingering choices that you make. All that you really care about is that you are successful and it goes pretty smoothly and quickly for you. And what goes well when you're moving along slowly versus what goes well when you're moving along at speed may be different. Okay, and so find which makes the most sense for you. Let's go real slow. We're going to play through the whole thing. It's not going to go well the first time for either of us. We'll play through the whole thing. We'll do the repeat, and the second time through, I'll shut my mouth and we'll play through the whole thing. Okay, so from the top, grab your F chord first, and let's play. Hit the C chord, hit the 3, D minor with a 5, pull it down the 3, and then A minor. 0, 0, 3. Make sure your thumb is resting on string number 1. The strum, go to your F chord, add your 3, A minor. O, 1, O, F chord, pinky, C chord. Slide up to 5, back to the F chord with your pinky, open, A minor, F chord, 1, D minor, whoops, hit the 1, and then hit the 0, 0, 3. Measure 9. D minor, pinky on 5, back to 3, A minor, 0, 0, 3. O, 1, O, nice strum. I've just done what I told you not to do, right? My ring finger went there just out of habit, and that's a poor choice. So I'm going to refinger that with my index finger here. F with the pinky. Where am I? There I am. Open, 0, 0, 3. Hit a 1. 0, 0, 3. 1. F chord. Open. F chord. That note is going to turn you around to go back and play it again. All right. I notice you're strumming, but there are no wiggly lines on the chord. Okay. Cindy's question is an important one. Not so much, well, especially when you're hanging around with me, because sometimes I'll put a wiggly line, meaning I want my thumb down on my arrangements. In the real world, there is no difference between ones with wiggly lines and with not wiggly lines, because most arrangers don't put the wiggly lines on because you have to put them on one at a time in the software. They're a pain in the butt. You can't just go click, 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 or tell it to put wiggly lines on. You have to put them on one at a time, so they're a huge pain. So when I really, really want you to do a wiggly line, I will put a wiggly line on. But what I really want you to think about, especially if you're playing other people's tablature, which is going to be hit and miss whether it's any good or not, is I want you to be thinking about maybe I would play an F chord like this, or maybe I will play it like this, or maybe I'll play it like this, or maybe I'll play it like the other way. I don't usually do that. But you get to decide that, not the arranger. Okay, the arranger is going to give you a pretty good idea what he or she thinks you should do. But really, at the end of the day, if you want to, this song, does this song feel like eyes like the morning star, or does it feel like eyes like the morning star? I think it sounds more strummy to me, right? But you can also amp that up with a song. Maybe play it with your thumb the first time through, the second time through, play it with plucking, third time through, play it within some type of different pattern. So again, Cindy's question is important. Do I strum with my thumb, or do I pluck it? It looks like it's a pluck, but I'm doing a strum. You get to make that call. Okay. If you're playing out of my Jumping Flea Arpeggio book, no, you don't get to make that call. I tell you exactly what I want. But on pop tunes and on all these stuff where you're playing tunes that you know from other genres and stuff, you can make that decision. All right. We're going to play from the top the second time through. Okay. I'm going to strum Cindy, and you guys can plug it if you want, whatever makes you happy. Okay. And if none of that's making you happy, play the one line, play ukulele one, just the melody. And if that makes you sad, play the chords. Okay. From the top, 1, 2, ready, play. Finish. Okay, some of you have this F chord, and some of you have this chord. Okay, that's the one. That's a cool one. Okay, so again, I was thumbing through the whole thing because I think it sounds pretty that way, but you should absolutely go back in and try for yourself about just plucking the whole thing. See what comes up. You got 3 times to play through it each time you play this song, so mix it up. Don't be shy. Be an artist. The sheet music I hand out is meant for you to mess up, right? You're supposed to think about it in terms of what do I want to get out of this song. All right, so Colorado Trail is a bit of a surprising song in the sense that it's really beautiful and the chords are pretty easy, and it's not one that's you're gonna end up having to kill yourself on to end up sounding really great. So I love that song for that reason. And same with Simple Gifts, even a little bit easier, gonna sound beautiful. Those are 2 songs you can play and really make yourself sound like, hey, I know what I'm doing. Now, let's go to Streets of Laredo. Things are about to change. All right, how are we doing on time? We're running. All right, I got about 5 minutes to get this song to you. So we're going to talk about a little bit. We'll play through the tough uke one time, and then you're going to get out of here. Okay. Chords on this one. Here's what we like: G chord, index, middle, ring. Okay. Your D7 is sometimes going to be this one, bar with the 3. Okay. And sometimes you're going to play a D chord, which is, instead of doing a bar, do 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is how you know if your ukulele is too small. This one's too small for me. I can barely fit my fingers in there. Okay. You've got a C chord down there at measure 3. Okay. And then you have, I think we have one other. Do we have the other D7? We don't. No place else do the other D7 show up. Okay. So that's it. Chords are not going to be a problem. Notice from last week's music theory discussion, G, A, B, C chord shows up in here, and D chord shows up in here. So the 1, 4, and 5, that's it. Very typical of cowboy music, is not complex from a chord standpoint. It's usually much more interesting from a melody standpoint. Okay. A couple of things about this. There's some dotted 8th notes followed by 16th notes in there. I would take those under advisement. You're supposed to sing, as I walked out on the streets of Laredo. As I walked out on Laredo one day. So you're supposed to give that some of these notes a little bit extra oomph, and then a little squishy 16th note in right after that. Not required, at least not when you're getting up to speed. You can play everything as a straight eighth note. As I walked out on the streets of Laredo. As I walked out on Laredo one day. So you don't have to get fancy with it. It'll sound better if you do. Don't be shy about going and listening to the way Johnny Cash does it. He's pretty fancy. And so basic chords here, melody that you can pretty much just chug your way through is almost all eighth notes. There are some, like I say, some a little bit fancy rhythms here and there. You're going to go play down through measure 8 7 times, and then you're going to, is it 7 or 10? 7, yeah, 7 times, and finish it out. Okay, so the song structure is very straightforward. It's just 8 measures over and over and over. The bizarro point of this song is that this kid has done something wrong and he's gotten shot and he's laying there in the street, and he was busy planning his funeral as he's dying, and at the end they go to get him a whiskey, and they come back and he's dead, and they all loved him. He was wonderful, but he had done a bad thing, and so story kind of ridiculous, but there is a couple of really nice moments in here when they have 6 jolly cowboys carrying the coffin. I love that image. And then he's got pretty little girls to bear up my pall. I think they're pallbearers. I'm not sure what that means, but and then they're going to throw roses into the graves to deaden the rocks as they fall, and so there are some really cute moments in the tune. Okay, the melody is straightforward, so let's run through and play that. You've got some 5s in there, and so in this case, I would say run up to use your pinky to get those 5s. Don't change positions. Other than that, it's just 2s and 3s for the most part. Okay, from the top, we'll just do it one time through. One. I'm going to count 1, 2. It's in 6. When you're in 6, I like to count in 2 when it's in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I really like to count is 1, 2, 1, 2, knowing that there's a 2, 3, and a 5, 6 sneaking in after there. Okay, here we go from the top. 1, 2, 5, 5, 3, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 0, 3, 2, 2. I'm going to start again. I don't think I hit any single note correctly. Let's start again from the top. 1, 2, 5, 5, 3, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 0, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 0, 2, 3, 2, 0, 3, 0. 5, 5, 3, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 0, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 0, 2, 3, 2, 3, 0, 3, 5. Go back to the beginning and play it 7 more times. Coming around the second time, the measure 9 is essentially a duplicate of measure 8, except you don't play the pickup note. And then at the end, you have a nice G chord on the end. If you want an extra fancy G chord, do a bar on 7 and your pinky on 10. There it is. Then you want that will give you a nice high finish for it. All right, let's as quick as we can. We'll play through the tough uke one time. Let's walk through it once and then we'll play it. Okay, so I'm starting with my G chord on, and then I notice I'm getting, that's the weird fingering I got to deal with. Okay, get the 5, and then a strum. Slide your pinky back to get the 3, and then get rid of your pinky. Now switch to that D7. Okay, so that's a motion you'll learn. Okay, from G, bar 3. Grab the 5 with your pinky, back to the 3. Go to a G chord. Lose your ring finger, middle finger, and then go grab a D. Go back and grab a G, a 3, opens, a nice G chord here, lose your middle finger, and then a D chord. Pinky, G chord with a pinky, bar with a 3, page 2, come on, G chord, open, G chord on 7, opens, G chord, second ending. Okay, so compared to last week's music, this stuff is way, way, way easier. But when we get to this way, way easy stuff, we also get into the need to be a little more accurate, a little bit more less goofs and stuff. So hopefully that'll help you guys out. Thanks for being here. I will see all of you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have fewer technical difficulties. Go eat dinner. Have a wonderful evening. If you already ate dinner, go clean up. And thanks to you all for being patient with me today. I'm sorry that we had so many challenges. I will see what ended up on tape, and then maybe we can make some adjustments tomorrow. We got 16 songs for this Friday's concert, so most not today. Bye from Salina. Okay, thank you guys. Gail, Jackie, wonderful. Diane, have a wonderful breaking up. Bye. Greg, have a wonderful day. Joyce, I'm okay with easier. It gives me a chance to feel accomplished. And Paula, yeah.